This year, more than ever, districts across Oregon, Washington, and frankly, the rest of the country are struggling to fill positions. It's a problem across the board, from teachers to office staff, everyone. And their frustration is spilling over. We just got this video into our newsroom. These are teachers demonstrating today outside of George Middle School and Roosevelt High School in Portland, trying to bring attention to how these issues are impacting students.
When we don't have staff to support us and we don't have staff in the building, like Friday we had 15 teachers out, then what happens is it's hard to manage all of the things that are happening with the kids and all of their needs.
Now, obviously, the pandemic plays a role here, but it's not the only reason for the staffing shortage and frankly the teacher burnout. Pitawanich looks at how it got this bad.
Staffing shortages at school districts all over are putting a strain on teachers and forcing districts to pay up big time in hiring incentives. For those of us outside of the education world, those new incentives may make it seem like the situation came out of the blue this school year. But those working in education tell me the issue has been building for some time.
Well, I'll just say this. Teachers are feeling fragile. Teachers are feeling exhausted.
We've already have lost over 3,000 substitute teachers since the pandemic began.
And now here we are faced with those needs being even greater than before, and we have an incredible staffing shortage. And that staffing shortage is not allowing us to be able to put in place the staffing that our students need.
So how did we get here? We've heard many times that the pandemic exacerbated the staffing shortage, but we're learning it's a result of more than the pandemic.
I'm Dr. Anthony Rosilas. I'm the current executive director of the Teacher Standards Practices Commission here in Oregon. We are responsible at TSBC for the standards for licensing of all the K-12 educators in the state.
Rosiles says there are multiple factors to consider. About 5 years ago, he started noticing a decline in teachers entering the profession.
It's the stress of the work, the school violence, just the increased academic rigor that we expect, which is good for our students. Then on top of that, you add concerns about health.
All those factors making some people question if teaching is the right choice for them. Rosiles says 40 to 50% of teachers leave the profession in 3 to 5 years, and diverse educators leave at an even greater rate.
Teachers deserve higher compensation for the work that they do every single day in and out of the classrooms.
Nicole Butler-Hooten, Oregon's 2021 Teacher of the Year, says these days student needs and expectations of teachers are great.
I think the problem of practice becomes, well, how do we do this job and do it well? So teachers' hours are 8 to 4, but I have never in a day in my life been done at 4 o'clock.
Butler-Hooten believes pay may be a big component of the staffing shortage.
Well, if I had to pinpoint one, I think it would be financial incentives or compensation, accurate compensation for the work that we do. I still struggle with the compensation that I have received over 16 years of teaching and what that looks like in relationship to the work and what I do on a daily basis.
And she says that's especially true now, with teachers doing more than they were expected to do years ago.
Because now we do hold a lot of social work in that avenue, and we always have, right, counselor and problem solver and meeting the needs of all students, but I feel like more so probably in the last 5 years.
Rosiles says that also holds true with substitute teachers.
Many of our districts haven't looked at substitute teacher pay for many years.
Add to that geographical factors. Some areas in the state just have more access to substitutes than others. Then there's the aging workforce. Some teachers retired early because of the pandemic. Reed Scott Schwalbach with the Oregon Education Association says what happened more than a decade ago also didn't help.
So we lost a whole generation of folks when we were defunding schools and not supporting the folks who were already there in that 2008 to 2010 period. They all found jobs in other sectors and they let their license lapse.
The past playing a role in the present, a time that's becoming increasingly difficult for some educators to consider their jobs worth it, despite their love for it.
There's never been a harder time to become a teacher. But I can tell you also, there's never been a more impactful and important time to become a teacher.
Okay, KGW's Christine Pitawanich is joining us now. So Christine, you talked about, the buildup to the situation that we're in now, but I mean, districts have had staffing shortages before, right?
Yeah, Maggie, so it's not just teachers and substitute teachers that we're talking about here. In years past, there have been shortages in, say, transportation, so we're talking bus drivers. But I'm also told that there are persistent areas of shortages involving, say, special ed teachers, school counselors, social workers, school psychologists, that sort of thing. So this whole staffing shortage, it definitely isn't something that just happened overnight.
Yeah, definitely. So have you been able to get any sort of impression of what the fix to this problem might be?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? Because ultimately, if this staffing shortage issue does not get fixed, there will be a trickle-down. Students will inevitably suffer, as will entire education systems. But coming up tomorrow here on The Story, we're going to be looking at some potential long-term fixes and maybe some short-term ones as well that will hopefully help.
All right, Christine Pitawanich, thank you so much for the coverage.